So shall I get started? So today we're going to talk about Token Economics 101, and this is a really broad topic. So this 101 is to give you a little insight to how to design a token ecosystem, as well as the kind of variables to consider. Before we begin, I'm Lisa. Hi, I'm a researcher at Economics Design, and I'm sorry I can't be in the Philippines today, but I'm here in Singapore, and I'm going to give you all the information that you need. And over there, physically beside you, you have Amadeo.
Hello.
Amadeo, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Amadeo. I'm the CTO of EOI Digital. We are a digital agency and we help companies with digital marketing and digital transformation. And I see that token engineering and token economics will be a very big field in the future, which will intertwine with technology and economics.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about crypto economics versus token economics. We're going to look at the design process of how to create a tokenized ecosystem. And we're going to look at some token engineering stuff like TCR and token bonding costs. Then we're going to end it with a Q&A. So by the end of this, you should be able to have a very basic understanding of token economics versus crypto economics, a high-level understanding of the process, design process, as well as the methods to consider when you are creating the token, which you guys will be doing today. So before we begin, well, I can't see you guys, so someone's going to help me up. So raise a hand if you've heard of crypto economics. Are there people who raise their hands? Right. Okay, so now raise your hands if you think that both of them are the same thing. No one. Wow. This is a smart team. So when I first got into the space, so there are a lot of terms being thrown out like crypto economics and token economics. So in the beginning of last year and the end of 2 years ago, terms have been thrown around because people don't really understand what they mean. But they're quite different, and I came into the space wanting to understand what's the difference. So crypto economics is more like an umbrella term, an all-encompassing term that involves anything to do with the economics of cryptography, which includes blockchain, DRT, cryptography, as well as your tokens. And token economics is really a subset where it looks at the economics of a tokenized ecosystem. So if you think about it, token economics is a subset of the bigger picture, which is crypto economics. And it's something like token economics will be chocolate cake, and crypto economics will be desserts in general. So it's a subset. And that's how I usually explain to people the difference between crypto economics and token economics. These guys are a really smart bunch, so we're going to dive into the details. This is usually the diagram and framework that I present, and I usually do it live, so I usually break people into little groups so you can place things together. But since I'm not there, we're just going to dive into the answers and then we can have discussions. By the way, this is a two-way communication. If you have questions, stop me and then just ask me. Yeah?
Okay.
Crypto economics is three big circles, I would say, and it involves three big categories. So the first one is blockchain platform, the second is network platform, and the third is system platform. Someone tell me what's blockchain platform?
So a blockchain platform is basically, I would say, a protocol layer.
Very good. So examples of blockchain platform will be like EOS, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger, Product, and all that kind of stuff. What about network economics?
Mining.
Huh?
Mining?
So network economics is more, yeah. So example will be mining, and these are methods to allow the network to function as a whole. So we are all in a network, and how can we function together? So, and what about system properties in general? What do you think they are?
All the things together. System properties.
Sorry, things coming together?
Sorry? The consensus mechanism.
Okay. Interesting. So system properties are more the system itself and things that's a little bit more governed by the code. So these are the general idea of what they are. But in this slide, there's the word economics is repeated 4 times. So what about the economics of things? When we talk about blockchain platform, we have to talk about the economics of blockchain platform. So we mentioned that it's systems protocol. It's the different platforms like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger, and Corda. What's the economics behind that? What are things that we should consider?
Circulation of money.
Okay. So when we look at incentive, okay. Anything else?
What was the question? Network economics.
What's the economics underlying the blockchain platform?
It is the supply and demand and the pursuit of wealth by the miners.
Okay, so it's very interesting that you guys are thinking very dynamically. And I would say it's more of the Byzantine agreement problems. It's really how you're going to govern the cryptography and the underlying blockchain platform. So we're going to look. So if we look at just like Corda or we look at the Bitcoin, what are the different agreements from an economics point of view to ensure that our platform is safe and secure? So there will be something like Byzantine agreement. And just now I heard about incentives. So the incentive mechanism is not really from the blockchain platform itself, but really from the network economics. So in network economics, we're going to talk about things like consensus protocol, governance, allocation mechanisms, resolution mechanisms, voting protocol. So it's because we're in a network, and a network is like we have participants and users in there, and how can we entice users and participants to behave correctly? How can we incentivize them to have good behavior? And how can we punish them or disincentivize them from being bad actors? So this is where the whole network economics come in. And lastly, system properties. So someone talked about money circulation in supply, money supply demand and the total amount in circulation. That's really the system properties because this is something that can be embedded into the code and that will be under monetary policy. So these are three different areas. They're all very interlinked and sometimes it's a bit difficult to separate them, but how I usually do it is to put them into a very nice timeline. So cryptoeconomics, as I mentioned, is an umbrella term, and it contains a lot of different aspects in cryptography and DLT and blockchain. So one way to really separate them is to look at them from a timeline point of view. We have the past, present, and the future. So in the past, we're talking about blockchain platforms. How do they verify information of the past? How do they keep track of information of the past? How do we ensure immutability of the past? And this is all in the blockchain platform itself. Then we move on to things in the present, would be the economic incentives of the present. And because the present also involves users and participants, and if the network grows, the user's behavior might change. And the economic incentives we talk about here are the different kind of governance protocols, the different kind of voting protocols and resolution mechanisms and consensus mechanisms that allows the participants to interact with each other and really incentivize them to behave properly that's in the benefit of this entire system. And lastly, we have systems properties. So these are properties that we can embed in the future. So for example, if I'm thinking, okay, we're going to have a currency, and this currency is going to look at a 2% inflation rate during the next 48 months. So I can put them into the code, or I can govern them by code, so that it changes either the supply or the function of the code's monetary policy. So these are three big chunks that make up crypto economics. And it involves the blockchain platform itself, the network economics, so the network that all are together, and the system properties where it's a bit more fluid and less human interaction. So far, so good. Any questions?
Very clear.
This is the start, and we're going to have a lot more later. So I mentioned that token economics and crypto economics are different. And in token economics, one of the circles will disappear. In token economics, one of the circles will disappear. So we're going to have a vote with all of you in the room to see which circle disappears. Do you think it's the red circle? And if you think it's the red circle? 1. Do you think the blue circle disappears? Raise your hand. 1. And do you think the yellow circle disappears? Raise your hand. None? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so basically the question what Lisa asked is like which, we discuss all the three circles, the blockchain platform, network economic and system properties. Which, if we're talking about token economics, which circle will be irrelevant? Which circle of these will disappear?
I mean, is token economics a subset of crypto economics? Is that what you're saying?
That's what she's saying.
Because it doesn't like.
The two different things, I would say. What do you say, Lisa?
Because I mean, the blockchain platform
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense to you to have disappear. Because the crypto economics is having cryptographically secured data from the
Hashes.
past.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So that can disappear.
No, but that's
Yes.
separate from token economics, right?
No, but the token economics
Yes.
is still based on
The cryptography, the
historical
truth,
transactions.
and the truth of the cryptography. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I think I already told us in the red circle. I think what we're trying to say here is that basically the blockchain itself is already taken care of by crypto economics, and token economics is built on top of crypto economics. Do I say that correctly, Lisa?
But you're saying that the past,
Correct. So
the past doesn't matter.
your stance is correct. It's very good. So if you think about it, the red circle is something like the Internet Protocol, IPFS. And the blue and yellow circle is your website.
Sorry, zero sense.
Are you saying that the token is sort of an abstraction built on top of the blockchain, which is abstracted away in token economics? Is that
I guess as an
yeah,
abstraction.
so it's
I
still
do
there,
agree
but
with
it's an
that.
abstraction that's not
Because
formed.
British, they're still basing it on
Yeah.
token economics. You make future economic predictions based on historical
Yeah.
cryptographically secured data.
Yeah.
So token economics, what are you doing the projection?
well, they're separated from the block from the for example on Stellar. If you want to build on Stellar a token,
Yeah.
you don't like you build the token economic system on top of Stellar.
You still need stellar security.
You get Stellar secure, but you don't care about the crypto economics because you assume
On
that's
Stellar?
right.
Yes.
You need to make assumptions if you right.
Yeah, but you're still basing it on the.
No, it's economic. It's like completely different. They're not connected. Like if, for example, the Stellar.
They're connected. You can't take away one. Sorry, zero sense.
Well,
In terms
Yeah, they're
in terms of I guess maybe if you think of it abstractly in economic terms, but in I don't know.
So you're saying with a token, you're making the underlying assumption that the crypto economics are sound.
yeah,
So if you make that
Right.
assumption, and you're using it as sort of a protocol layer,
exactly.
so you don't necessarily
Sure, but
care
you
about
can't
the
take
details of the
away
protocol
it.
layer.
No, if you're not taking it away, in your thinking, you cannot like think about all the spectrums because else you go crazy. And you just need to try to make sense of it. So you remove that and make the assumption that it is okay. Same if you make an assumption that I build software and I assume that my server runs.
Like if you're building a website,
Yes.
you're not in the details of the HTTPS protocol
Exactly.
necessarily, but you're just assuming that it's there, you're using it for a purpose. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
yes. Very good. Like, it's really an assumption, and then we're going to look deeper into that as well. But why we can consider system properties and network economics? Because we're going to bring them together to build a model that's very specific to token.
Okay.
Okay, and then so the next thing we're going to go into is a very high level of the design process, and this will probably give you a better understanding of why I have to split crypto economics and token economics up. So the design process is a very simple three-step method. It's discovery, design, and then deploy. But the interesting thing is that with design deploy, it's an ongoing cycle. So it's similar to like Agile, where you design something, you deploy, test it, run it, come back and edit it. So it's an ongoing cycle, it's not a linear thing. What we look at in the discovery stage are the different areas and aspects like the actors in the token ecosystem, the token business model, the token function, the token use case, because this will really affect the economics model of the token where the token economics comes in. And then look at the value-added network. And this is something I like to stress because not every project requires a token, not every project needs to be on blockchain, not every project needs a BLT. So you have to consider if this is something that's really put on the distributed and then you have your gain point and gain point. So this is the regular discovery phase that a lot of projects and companies go through anyway. The interesting part is the design. In design, I'll split it up into two. The first stage of design is really defining the design speed with constraints. So in design, we for participants, the project presented one at a very high level, as well as the objectives and constraints. So we talked about the different project types. Now, in your business, and this is very interesting because you have to have constraints, otherwise your system will really big and be out of hand. And the thing,
I think the connection is a bit fading. I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch read Wi-Fi lines now quickly. Mechanism. I think that's where we were.
So, as I was mentioning, so objectives is something that's quite important to consider because as the systems grow and the network grow, you're going to keep improving your system because there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all kind of token model. Mm-hmm. And it's important to have an objective in mind so that in case there are two decisions you have to make, you make the one that's related to your objective. So, for example, the IMF and the World Bank has a specific objective, and as you know, IMF gets more responsibilities, they do sidetrack to different kinds of objectives, but they always come back to the main one. And with objectives, you have one main one, and then you have 2, 3, 4 sub-objectives that you want to consider. So this is the first part of the design process. The second part is where the whole economics comes in. We call it the economics of tokenization, or token economics, or tokenomics, whatever you want to call it. And it's really 3 very big pillars. It's market design, mechanism design, and token design. The next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about that, so I'll show you the framework of things and variables to consider. But in general, these are the 3 big pillars, and then you bring them together to create a token network. So a model that really fits your project and achieves the designs, or achieves the objectives based on the different constraints.
Yes. Okay.
And lastly is to deploy them. So to deploy, you run different things like surveys or economic theories, behavioral experiments. Behavioral experiments is really important because one of the biggest threats is the irrationality of human behavior. Because people don't always behave like you want them to, or they don't behave as rationally as a code or robot. You really want to test them out, so just in case they are incentivized to do bad things, and how do we prevent that? For simulating, people like to run Monte Carlo or agent-based modeling. I don't think you have enough time to go into all these stuff in Hackathon, but it's good to have them in the back of your head when you're really developing the topic.
Yes.
How would you run the entire process, and we're going to go deeper into the token economics framework. This is the framework that I spent like 1.5 years creating. It's 3 different areas. So you've got market design, mechanism design, and token design. In market design, it's really designing the environment in which your tokens and your ecosystem will exist. So we can talk about thickness. Thickness would be how do I gather a lot of people there so I can start creating network effects? How do I reduce congestion so I can allow transactions to flow smoothly? How do I increase safety? Do I look at zero knowledge proof, or do I look at advanced cryptography, or do I look at very specific algorithm that allows people to feel safe with their transactions or with their token? Mechanism design is really the rules of the game. So we're going to look at different kind of governance, different kind of structure, different kind of non-financial incentives to allow the ecosystem to be governed by such rules. And lastly, we have token design. So I put token designs in different parts because for some, let's say, private blockchain, you don't need tokens. So it's a different part, and this will be things that related to the token, like a token policy, your financial incentives, as well as different architecture. And this is the framework, and some disclaimers. Not every variable has the same significance. So, for example, governance is really, really, really important, and things like maybe property rights in the architecture side is not as important. So we do want to have different kind of focus on the different variables, and also not every variable is relevant to your project. So you might be, there are 3 kind of token functions. You have currency, you have utility, and security, and they because they are different in nature and function, you have to take different kind of variables to consider, and you don't have to consider everything. Your token business model is also very important. It's something that we talk about in the discovery process, and we want to take that into consideration when choosing the different variables to pick and choose from. And lastly, this variable or this framework is really looking at from within the token ecosystem. So the factors, the variables, I call them the internal variables or the endogenous variables. These are the specific variables from within the ecosystem to determine the success and the value of your tokens. There are other variables to consider that's external. So things will be like, global legislation, global jurisdictions, the regulations in the country that you're registered in, the expertise of the team, the popularity of the blockchain, the security of the blockchain. These are other things to consider. That's external, but right now we're just going to look at the internal variables that define the framework, defines the structure, defines the success of your token.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, and the next part, Amadeus is going to talk about token engineering and really more of the token aspect. But before I leave you to him, this is a QR code that you can scan. So this is a resource list that I have. I included all the resources. So you can either scan the QR code or go to bit.ly/tokenomics-resources. There are mainly a lot of academic papers where all these concepts are derived from fundamental economic concepts. So it's none of this bullshit stuff that just
Everybody tries to scan the link, but I will send the link also in our Telegram channel, and I will do a shout out to Lisa, of course, and the whole Telegram channel to everybody. So that it cannot read the QR code, but it's fine. Yes. Yeah. So Lisa, just amazing presentation. Thank you very much. This was really, really good. And basically, what let's see if I can present this. There you go. Basically, what I will now be continuing on is like token engineering. So Lisa really laid the groundwork of this whole new paradigm called token engineering and token design and crypto economics, and because blockchain is basically an elegant implementation of computer science and economics. These two things, they come together. And in my view, like blockchain will change our lives dramatically, and token engineering will become a very big part of our ecosystem. Because I think we will get a lot of different incentive structures all around us. We already have that, but this will be more entrenched in society over time. And to play around with this, we can, a hackathon is a really good example of a location where you can start testing out small economic models. So what you can do during the hackathon is trying to think about an incentive structure you can use into your concept you just hacked together. So how can you incentivize people to actually use your application, or what kind of economic models could you maybe use in this blockchain application that you just have built? I put in an example of a hackathon I did in Shanghai, and basically we came up with a DAO model or a freemium secondary market model to embed it. What is important when you design a token model during a hackathon is that you can think about it very quickly, but you need to think about like what kind of token model can you implement, and what a very good model in my opinion is like, for example, bonding curves. So let's say every user that comes into your application, that you have a certain amount of money stocked away that goes into into some kinds of like a fund where people get rewards out of the more people that use the application. But it's maybe like that's maybe also already a bit too far. You can also think about a DAO. Who knows? Let me go back to who knows what a DAO is? Decentralized. Yeah. All right. Cool. So maybe you can implement a a DAO into your hackathon concept, where you then maybe for the time's sake, because we don't have enough time to build out the whole model, implement it theoretically, and then present this to the judges and show them that you want to think about a token economic more deeper once you maybe get the time and chance to build out your concept further in later stages. Yeah, so basically that was the token economic workshop. What I really like to do for you guys is to help everybody that has any questions, or maybe to hear what kind of concept you're building and where we can maybe integrate token economic models into existing concepts. But so far, is there any questions from anybody? No questions? Okay. So what kind of concept, because I think there's 3 different teams here, is that correct? I think you're from 2 different teams, right? Okay, cool. So maybe start with you, what kind of concept are you guys building?
I'm actually with him.
Oh, you're together, okay. So there's two different teams, okay, cool. That's fine. So what concept are you building right now?
We're actually thinking of creating a bounty type application for GitHub.
Yes, I spoke with one of your developer guys, right? So you're the economic guys and the developer guys. That is a very, very interesting concept for implementing a token economic model.
It's for the developers who actually needs funding to actually fix the bugs for their projects.
Yeah, I also think that these concepts are already quite a bit done, but maybe an offline concept where you can also do offline tasks. That would be cool, right? Because it's maybe a bit more complex. So okay, so you want to integrate your own token model, or you're thinking about using an existing token model, or?
Not so sure about that.
Well, incentive-wise, obviously the most funded issues would be the first, the ones we're going to be prioritized to get solved. But in terms of token incentive models, we haven't really fleshed out the concepts and ideas yet.
Reputation tokens is something, and reputation tokens in a GitHub could be worth a lot in the future. Yeah, it's all about communities that are being built, and if you have a reputation token,
That's a bit of a combination of GitHub and Stack Exchange.
Exactly.
Sometimes, right?
I was on Stack Overflow a long time ago, and then Stack Overflow was nothing. There was no advertisers there, and then I was there quite a bit, and now Stack Overflow is huge. It got huge because of all the people putting the content.
Yeah.
Right? The reputation of Stack Overflow is very sought after for a while. The points you get for answering questions and things. That was kind of like a currency for a while in and of itself.
Oh really?
But
It
does
was.
it have any external value?
No, there was no external value, but it had value for interviews. People would have on their resume.
Oh, that's right.
I have over 10,000 reputation on Stack Exchange, so it's kind of like
There you go.
I mean, the top 1% in this category.
Yeah, they had boards for that and all that kind of stuff.
There you go. So that's a real life example. Of course, so you don't literally need a blockchain per se for a reputation system, but how are you sure that nobody got reputation points in the wrong way? So I would be more comfortable, especially if you trade that reputation, or if I'm a recruiter, if it's more like a decentralized system. What are you working on?
We're trying to build energy system. It's a marketplace of an energy system. Mm-hmm. So we have from energy generation to marketplace, then to distribution. Mm. So the marketplace will be the point of token economics. So for now, we are considering the stablecoins to exchange on the marketplace.
Yeah.
So that's simple like that. Actually, it's an ecosystem of social media.
Okay, can you hear it, Lisa?
I can hear distributing energy and a marketplace to trade energy.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then I can't hear it back.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. So something to consider in the energy, because I think energy is really, really interesting. And something to consider is probably a 2-token model. concerns that we're looking at when we talk about trading energy. The first one is something like Ethereum's gas, right? If you need a utility or whatever token to run on the platform on its own. So how do I connect like my house and my solar energy to my neighbor and use my energy instead of paying? And then the other system is really the interaction between the token ecosystem and the real life economy. So if my neighbor is going to pay me, how will that transact and how will that interact with each other? Because if you're going to use one token model only, then the objectives are, you have two objectives, right? You want the token to have a price, and you want the token to be a unit of account for the energy that will be transferred.
Yeah.
And sometimes the objectives can be quite colliding, or can be quite they have two different, they can collide, and it's quite difficult to build a model from there. But
Yeah, we're considering two different tokens for that. Two different, token. One's the crypto token, and then the other one's the utility token.
yeah.
So, yeah. So we're considering multi-token here.
I think you're familiar with the concept of WePower. It's already a launched project. They're actually quite interesting. Only they're struggling with some other angles right now, but their token model is really interesting. You should look into that.
So I'm still figuring out how to connect each other. Yeah.
Nice, guys. All right. Do you have anything to add for the teams, Lisa?
Thank you.
No, I think that's good. If anything, just like me up on Slack.
Yes. So if anything, you can Slack Lisa. Can you send me your Slack on or shall I send your Telegram or your Slack? What do you prefer?
Slack.
Your Slack. Okay. Yeah. If you text it to me in Telegram, I will drop it in the general group so people can always contact you.
It's the IoT, IOSD.
Oh no, that is not the Slack. That's a different Slack. So we're mostly on Telegram. So I will add you to the Telegram. Let me do that. I will add you to the Telegram Bish group, and that will work. And I will send a recap of our session here as well. Oh, you cannot be invited to groups. I will.
She needs to change that in her privacy features.
Yeah. Let me send you the invite link. I will do it after our call. All right, guys. Thank you. I think this is a wrap. Or maybe somebody has burning questions. I'm also walking around. Lisa will be floating around digitally around the hackathon, so you can constantly bug her if she's still available. And I will also be walking around for any questions. Cool. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.